The room was silent. Not the ordinary kind of silence, but the heavy, emotional stillness that fills a place when thousands of memories seem to hang in the air at once. Friends, family, and fans gathered together, their hearts weighed down with grief as they prepared to say their final goodbye to the legendary music icon, Neil Sedaka. But no one in that room could have predicted that one tribute would capture the soul of the moment so deeply that it would leave nearly everyone wiping away tears. When Leba Strassberg stepped forward to speak, the atmosphere shifted completely. What followed was not just a speech. It was a breathtaking, emotional tribute that many would later call the most unforgettable moment of the entire farewell ceremony. For decades, Neil Sedaka's voice had been the soundtrack of countless lives. From his early rise to fame in the late 1950s and 1960s to his later musical revivals, Sedaka created songs that touched millions of hearts around the world. His melodies carried joy, heartbreak, nostalgia, and hope. Hits like "Oh, Carol," "Breaking Up Is Hard to Do," and "Calendar Girl" became timeless classics, played at parties, weddings, and quiet moments of reflection alike. But beyond the bright lights of the stage and the roaring applause of audiences, those closest to him knew a very different side of the legendary performer, a gentle soul, a devoted friend, and a man whose kindness often spoke louder than his music. As mourners gathered at the funeral, many struggled to process the loss. Some stared quietly at old photographs placed around the room, each one capturing a different era of Sedaka's life, from his youthful beginnings as a rising star to his later years as a respected musical legend. The atmosphere was filled with emotion, yet also with gratitude for the life he had lived and the legacy he had created. Then came the moment that would define the entire service. Leba Strassberg slowly approached the podium. For a moment, she paused, taking a deep breath as she looked out across the room. It was clear that the moment carried enormous weight. The crowd leaned forward slightly, sensing that something deeply personal was about to be shared. Her voice began softly, almost trembling with emotion, but every word carried sincerity. She spoke not about awards or chart-topping records, but about the man behind the music. She described Neil Sedaka as someone whose warmth could fill any room, someone who never forgot the people who supported him throughout his long and extraordinary career. According to Strassberg, Sedaka had a rare ability to make people feel valued and understood, whether they were lifelong friends or fans meeting him for the very first time. As she continued, the audience listened in complete silence. Some clasped their hands together, others gently wiped away tears. Her tribute painted a vivid picture of Sedaka's life beyond fame, a life built on loyalty, friendship, and an unwavering passion for music. She shared stories that many in the audience had never heard before, quiet moments backstage, heartfelt conversations late at night, and the simple joy Sedaka felt whenever he sat down at a piano. But perhaps the most powerful moment of the tribute came when Strassberg spoke about Sedaka's love for his audience. She explained that despite decades of success, he never lost the sense of wonder he felt when performing. To him, every concert was not just a performance but a chance to connect with people through music. It was that connection, she said, that defined his entire life. At one point, Strassberg paused again, her voice breaking slightly as she struggled to continue. The room remained completely still. The silence itself seemed to echo the depth of the loss everyone was feeling. When she finally spoke again, her words carried a message that resonated with every person present. While the world may have lost a legendary musician, those who loved him had lost something even greater, a remarkable human being. The emotional tribute seemed to ripple through the room like a wave. Even those who had tried to remain composed found themselves overcome with emotion. It was a moment that reminded everyone why Neil Sedaka had been so beloved, not only for his incredible musical talent, but also for the kindness and generosity that defined his character. As the ceremony continued, many reflected on the incredible journey Sedaka had taken throughout his life. From a young pianist with big dreams to an internationally celebrated performer, his career spanned generations. His music crossed borders, languages, and cultures, bringing people together in ways few artists ever managed to achieve. Yet perhaps the most beautiful part of Leba Strassberg's tribute was the reminder that Sedaka's story was not truly ending. His songs remain, continuing to echo through radios, playlists, and memories around the world. Long after the funeral service ended and the guests slowly left the venue, those melodies would still be playing somewhere, reminding listeners of the man who created them. In her closing words, Strassberg offered a final reflection that captured the spirit of the day. She said that while goodbyes are never easy, the legacy of someone like Neil Sedaka can never truly fade. Every time one of his songs begins to play, it is almost as if a small piece of his spirit returns, filling the room once again with the joy, warmth, and timeless beauty that defined his life. And as the service came to an end, many in attendance felt a quiet sense of peace. The grief was still there, of course, but it was accompanied by something else: gratitude for the music, the memories, and the extraordinary life of a man whose voice would continue to echo through history. Even after the final farewell, one truth remained clear to everyone who had gathered that day: legends may leave this world, but their melodies never truly fade. And in the case of Neil Sedaka, those melodies will continue to play for generations to come. Musical note: